Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Efforts are being made to free up magistrates to deal with criminal proceedings through the introduction of a new licensing regime for businesses. Legal Affairs Minister says the list outlining zero-rated value-added tax items is prepared and ready for legal notice. And Trinidad and Tobago students continue to shine above the rest. Thank you for joining us. Efforts are being made to free up magistrates to deal with criminal proceedings through the introduction of a new licensing regime for businesses. Legal Affairs Minister Prakash Ramada says such a move is part of the government's shift in making administrative services easier to and more accessible to the people.
Pawnbrokers, liquor store proprietors, theatre and club owners will now be able to get their licenses at a clerk of the peace instead of a magistrate. The new licensing regime for businesses is expected to free up magistrates, providing more time and availability for the clearing up of criminal cases and other court matters. Legal Affairs Minister Prakash Ramada describes this as a shift in paradigm in the provision of administration services to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
What we have decided is to make the grant of such licenses an administrative act. So if there are no objections from any of the institutions, then you go to the clerk of the peace and you pay your money and you get your license. So there's no wait, no need for you to attend before a court, and you would know from those who have experience attending the courts, there are days on end where hundreds of persons will line up, leave their businesses, and have to attend court. Sometimes return for no good reason because a magistrate may not be available, or the case workload of the magistrate is so burdensome they couldn't deal with licenses. So that would now be a matter in the past.
He adds that while some matters will require further attention due to objections from agencies such as the fire services, Minister Ramada says those matters will be dealt with outside the court.
The clerk of the peace will then form a committee with persons who would normally sit with the magistrate and deal with those matters outside of the court. If at the end of which there is no reconciliation of that matter, then it goes to the magistrate for determination. If any party is unhappy with the decision of the magistrate, then you can appeal it to the Court of Appeal in the normal course. So we see this as a tremendous opportunity to free up the court time to deal with criminal matters and other significant matters.
The new licensing regime is expected to be implemented before year's end. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Meanwhile, Minister Ramada says the list outlining zero-rated value-added tax, VAT, items is prepared and ready for legal notice. It's expected that this list will take effect on November 15th. However, the minister says all efforts are being made to ensure that fairness in price is kept intact across the board and that purchasing power remains in the hands of the consumers.
Legal Affairs Minister Prakash Ramada is assuring that a list of VAT-exempt food items will be ready by November 15th. He says this is in keeping with Finance Minister Larry Howai's statements made during the budget presentation last month.
That list has been prepared, and the Attorney General has been given instructions to create a legal notice to put it into effect so that come November 15th, the promise that the government made will have legal force and effect.
In an effort to maintain transparency with the new prices, he says a meeting has been arranged in the presence of the Prices Council, the Supermarket Owners Association and the media.
We believe that the Prices Council's duty now is to hear all of that in the presence of the media, and you'll be free to ask questions on that day. And the Prices Council will then investigate, if I may use that strong term, from the source where food is bought at source wherever from the world, imported into Trinidad, and track every bit of cost, transport cost, customs duty, and local transport costs, and you name it, so that we will have a fair assessment as to the profit margin of certain food items. So that we really believe in a free market, but a free market will only be free if persons, reflect the true state of affairs.
Minister Ramada reminds consumers of their purchase power and maintains that a list of items where VAT was removed will be posted on the ministry's website.
We will be putting it up on our website, and I'm sure it will be printed in the media and made available to you to disseminate to the public. Well, as you know, because of international agreements, that we have no price control on food items, and it really is left to the free market. However, the punitive actions that could be taken is really in the hands of the customer. And for others who wish to enter in the market, that if we see a profit margin, that is really high, then we expect that others may go into that market and really create competition, which is necessary to ensure that the consumer gets the best bargain for their money.
He, however, assures that the Ministry of Legal Affairs will take the necessary measures to protect consumers from price and market abuse if the market fails at regulating itself. Kimberly Ram-Calawan, News 4.
News 4 continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago students continue to shine above the rest. This is 8 out of 9 CAPE Awards was given to local students who wrote the exam earlier this year. Education Minister Dr. The Honorable Tim Gopi Singh made the announcement during this week's post-cabinet media briefing, where he congratulated the students for their hard work.
Trinidad and Tobago has once again topped the region in the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations, CAPE. 8 out of 9 awards were given to students from this country this year. According to Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, students topped in several areas including natural sciences and humanities and achieved grades with distinctions.
This year, 8 of the 9 regional top awards for outstanding performance in the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, for 2012, 8 of the 9, have been given to students or awarded to students from Trinidad and Tobago. The most outstanding overall candidate and the most outstanding candidate in natural sciences, technical studies, business studies, environmental science, mathematics, modern languages, and humanities were awarded to students from Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister Gopi Singh says this year's grades show a marked improvement from years gone by, as over 3,500 students received passing grades.
Overall, during the period 2010 to 2012, the percentage of students obtaining a passing grade in units 1 and 2, that is grades 1 to 4, ranged between 88% in 2010 and now in 2012, 93%. So 93% of our approximately 3,500 students writing CAPE have passing grades 1 to 5.
The minister took the opportunity to congratulate students for their hard work and diligent efforts in pursuing their studies.
The government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the Ministry of Education, and I'm sure all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago would like to sincerely congratulate these outstanding students for their performances in both the CSEC and CAPE examinations. Sincere congratulations to all those students. We are proud of these students and others who have written their examinations and have done very well. And even those who have not done as well as they should have, we still congratulate them because the performances are excellent.
This year, CAPE and CSEC candidates will receive their awards at a CXC function on December 6th in Anguilla. Kimberly Ram-Calawan, News 4.
In other news, the residents of Basta Hall Village are expressing their gratitude for the newly installed lights on their recreation ground. A ceremony under the public lighting program to mark the installation of lights took place at the Basta Hall Recreation Ground in Couva off Farm Road.
The newly installed lights will allow the residents to use the ground for extended periods of time. Member for Parliament for Couva South, Rudranath Endar Singh, was on hand to commission the lights and sought to remind the residents of the confidence they placed in his government to help bring this initiative off the ground.
We are on this pathway of delivering to the people in the context of fulfilling that mandate and that sense of confidence that you placed in us on the 24th of May 2010. And it is things like these that people of the Couva South constituency cherish and value in terms of providing that sense of facilities that are needed that will give a sense of feel to the people that they are indeed part and parcel of the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
He also praises the works done on the reopening and rededication of the Dow Village Ramlila grounds. The grounds were fully refurbished and upgraded by the Rural Development Company through the Ministry of Local Government to the tune of $1 million.
I'm told up till this evening, when I had a meeting with Minister Rambachan and the executive of the Calderac Sports Club or Cricket Club out of Dow Village in California, I'm being told by people that people are just stopping and marveling at what improvement works that have been done on behalf of the people of Dow Village, and more so in the context of the development of the only permanent home for Ramlila throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago.
In his contribution, Minister of Public Utilities, the Honorable Nizam Baksh, says he is pleased to have this time of renewal in the Basta community, where hundreds of residents use the recreational ground. He adds that although he is no longer in the Ministry of Community Development, which afforded him community ties that are somewhat difficult to break, he is always eager to participate in activities which brings him back to communities of familiar places and faces.
The illumination of the Basta Hall Recreation Ground marks its rebirth, since I understand it has been in an inoperable position for about 2 years. Notwithstanding some setbacks, among them the inclement weather which delayed the work of the contractor, which are finally here to illuminate your ground so that you can begin to really enjoy the benefits of this enhanced communal space.
The minister extends his sincere appreciation and thanks to TNTech and to all who contributed to the successful installation of lights.
Government's investment of just under $700,000 in the illumination of your facility includes 48 General Electric 1500-watt lights, which are fitted onto 6 17-meter poles. These special recreation lights are powered by underground low-voltage cables, which, since they eliminate the risks associated with overgrown vegetation, lightning and vandalism, are in keeping with good environmental and safety practices.
The minister took time to acknowledge and pay tribute to some of the persons in the community who have done exceptionally well in the field of sports, despite the challenges of a lack of resources.
I want to acknowledge the successes of Rakesh Maharaj, David Cookie Sylvester, young Ricardo Gibson, and others who, despite limited resources available to them at the time, have made a sporting name for themselves. They have cleared the way for the younger sportsmen who now certainly have it easier with this new upgraded facility.
Joseph Lopez, News 4.
Sport is up right after the break. The newly refurbished outdoor basketball court in the village of Maloney, East Trinidad, was the venue for the much-anticipated start of the Hoop for Life. The tournament, which is aimed at addressing the crime situation, is an initiative of the Ministry of National Security, who has partnered with the Ministries of Sport, Community Development, Local Government and Housing, with all having key roles to bring the project to life. News 4 Sport was at Maloney, and we have more in this Wayne Cunningham report.
Well, the Hoop for Life is a nice program, basically you get the communities coming together, for goodness and, so I think it's a good idea. I just hope that the teams and them that participate in the Hoop for Life could continue after the Hoop for Life finish.
Residents of Maloney turned out in their numbers for the bounce-off of the Hoops for Life tournament, and many were pleased to see the youth of the area on the court and in the stands.
I think it's a very good thing for the community, but they got lots of young fellas here that like the game. Sometimes they don't have the opportunity as to play the game. And if they get that opportunity, I think they're going to do good because Maloney have a lot of talented young people.
This resident sees the project as a good start in bringing back the community together.
I think it could bring the communities closer together. You know, it will bring people out, you know, support their team. So I think it could do good for the boundaries.
The Honorable Jack Warner, Minister of National Security, got the opening game going between Maloney Ezui and Arima Oilers. Maloney Ezui in the sky blue jumped out to the early lead with some exciting plays. Sean Lawrence with a steal and dunk. Lawrence at it again, this time finishing the alley-oop. By the halftime break, they had established a 46-24 lead. Not only the players graced the court, there was some enjoyable halftime entertainment to add a little culture to the proceedings. On the resumption, it was still Maloney making all the big plays. Kevin Bacquain with a steal, bucket and foul, plus the extra point. He had 12 points on the night. Head coach Christopher Jackson Charles must have been pleased at this point. The Arima Oilers were sluggish on offense, but got 17 points from Randy Greenwich and Nicholas Medina. Justin Medina also chipped in with 11 points. For Maloney Ezui, the big scorer was Lawrence with a game-high 26. Kern George had 22, with Bacquain and Kenyatta Alfred scoring 12 and 13 respectively.
Well done, Chris, well done. Bacquain, all watch Bacquain. My gosh.
With the score on 70-37 in favor of Maloney, Kevin Bacquain decided to send the crowd into a frenzy. Fortunately for the fans, the indoor facility was available to finish the game, which Maloney won by a score of 91-65. We caught up with forward Kevin Bacquain and got his views on the tournament.
Tournament was a good start, man. Great preparation and things, man. The response is much better than I expected. A lot of people come out and get the support to the tournament and to the competition itself, to the area, both Arima and Maloney. Once everybody do their respective jobs and maintain this level of basketball, it will reach far. I have great hopes for the tournament.
Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
News 4 continues after the break. The second green screen environmental film series kicked off at the Digicel IMAX Theatre under the theme Sustain TNT. The event mirrors the object of the Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development and the European Union strategy in promoting diversification of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago.
Speaking at the launch of the green screen environmental films, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Planning, Arlene Macomi, says the organization captures the philosophy which drives the policies and priorities of the ministry and directly links to one of the three pillars to building a sustainable economy.
One of the ministry's publications working for sustainable development in Trinidad and Tobago, and the blessed few would be able to get one or two of the copies from my Director Corporate Communications. Other than that, I think we have it on our website, so you will be able to go to the link and read our policy document. Good. Working for sustainable development in Trinidad and Tobago. An assessment done of Trinidad and Tobago's status at the present time as we seek to clarify, identify objectives of sustainable development.
She says this document guided Trinidad and Tobago's participation at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro earlier this year.
The Ministry of Planning and Sustainable Development is the national authorizing body for collaboration with the European Union. Both the European Union and the Ministry are harmonious in the objectives of creating environmental sustainable economies. Consequently, it became a natural fit to support Sustain TNT.
Ms. McComey adds that Trinidad and Tobago is a blessed nation, adding that within the Commonwealth Caribbean regions, Trinidad and Tobago is measured as one of the most industrialized countries. She stresses that we must be environmentally responsible and regenerate our energies into industries that can contribute to sustained growth.
We have been working towards, in different places, trying to ensure that we are responsible with respect to our environment. And I think it begins with each and every one of us at home, in our workplaces, to begin doing what little we can to ensure that we have a groundswell of awareness towards what we can do for the environment. So at home, I collect my plastics and put them in the plastic heap bin. At the office, I try to ensure that I have a green team that can inform staff about what is possible, what little each and every one of us can do in order to move forward.
The ministry has been supporting some projects to ensure that their challenges do not remain challenges. These include the integrated coastal management being done on the preparation and implementation and integrated plan for the protection of development for coastal ecosystems resources.
Microzonation, which is in partnership with our Town and Country Planning Division and the University of the West Indies. This maps the susceptibility of Trinidad and Tobago to earthquakes, and it's a 10-year project. We are in the process of developing a national spatial development strategy, which provides a framework for planning and development across the country.
Sustain TNT's Green Film series visually stimulates on a new strategic sector being developed, that is, the creative industries. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.